From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Superior Court Judge Paul Lyle today ruled the Fairbanks Daily News Miner has the right to publish an article with new information on the case of the Fairbanks Four.
That's right. In a hearing held late this afternoon, it was revealed that information inside of sealed documents was leaked by attorney Jason Gazewood's office. He's the very attorney fighting to keep it under seal.
Now, Judge Lyle said it was the firm's negligence that led to the release of the information. The article was put back up shortly after the hearing. And we, of course, have more on that on webcenter11.com. Continuing, a North Pole man is being held without bail, accused of murdering his 4-year-old son. Troopers arrested 27-year-old Christopher Sadowski yesterday. Troopers were originally called to the North Pole home on May 5th to the report of an unresponsive child. Now, the boy was pronounced dead at the hospital. Investigators said they observed bruises and burns covering his face, neck, and upper torso. State medical examiners concluded he died from blunt force trauma and thermal burns. Troopers say Sadowski claimed the injuries were from an inadvertent burn in the shower and from the boy falling. He told troopers he didn't bring the boy to the hospital because he thought he could care for the injuries on his own. For many, the number 7 is considered a lucky digit. For Assembly members looking to put a marijuana sales tax before borough voters on October 6th, 7 was anything but lucky. Jamie Schwartzwald explains.
We don't know what 5% is going to bring in, or we don't know what 8% is going to bring in. And at the other end of the pipe, we don't know what our costs are going to be.
Assemblyman Guy Asatley speaking during a special meeting of the Borough Assembly as the body sought to put before borough voters a retail tax on sales of marijuana and marijuana products. Assemblyman Van Lawrence co-sponsored the ordinance, asking that voters approve a 5% tax on October 6th. Assemblywoman Diane Hutchison proposed a substitute to increase the levy to 8%. She is staunchly opposed to a thriving marijuana industry in the borough.
I personally don't want to see the industry flourish. That's not a secret. I do think that a higher tax will discourage legitimate use.
I don't see any good reason for taxing marijuana at a higher sales tax rate than alcohol.
During discussion on the substitute, presiding officer Carl Castle ruled it would carry the main motion. Assembly members Catherine Dodge and Janice Golub were excused absences from the meeting, giving the body a quorum of 7. This, combined with Castle's ruling, gave the 3 proponents of the 8% tax an extreme amount of leverage, as 5 votes are needed to pass items per Assembly rules.
The 8% has got an advantage when we've got 2 members missing, right? Am I missing something? It all comes down to that, right?
A motion to overrule Castle's ruling, which would have allowed the body to vote down the 8% and return to the original 5% ordinance, earned a 4-3 majority, but did not get the required 5 votes and failed. There were attempts to amend the substitute to 6, 5, and even 4%.
I think 4% is a lot more in line with the intent of the state law.
However, each failed to gain the needed 5 votes. The 8% substitute failed at 3-4, meaning there will not be a question on the October 6th ballot. The borough, at least for another year, will not have a tax-based method to recoup costs associated with regulating a local marijuana industry. Neither side of the debate walked away happy.
We're going to have some unknown amount of expense setting up all the infrastructure and so on, and get absolutely nothing for it, which is the worst possible scenario of this whole deal.
A coalition of abortion opponents are planning a nationwide protest against Planned Parenthood on Saturday in 47 states and more than 300 cities. Protesters will gather outside of nearly 320 Planned Parenthood clinics across the country to call for cutting off the organization's federal funding and eventually shutting it down. The demonstrations come after videos purportedly showing Planned Parenthood staffers discussing the sale of fetal tissue for profit. In Fairbanks, the protest will be from 9 to 11 a.m. at 1867 Airport Frontage Road.
We're rallying to try to get it defunded because this is not medical care. This is something else that's just terrible. And if you watch the videos, you'll see it's absolutely horrifying and very sad.
Planned Parenthood has denied the allegations made against it and claims that the Center for Medical Progress has edited the videos to push its anti-abortion agenda.
When we come back, two community development centers in Fairbanks and North Pole are teaming up to ensure students have backpacks and school supplies. We'll give you all the details.
Also, in our weekly gardening segment, we'll show you the proper steps to develop your own compost pile that you can use next year to enrich your soil. These stories and more when we come back.
Welcome back. There is a lot that goes into prepping kids for school, and one local community center is helping families out by donating free school supplies. The J.P. Jones Community Development Center, in collaboration with the North Pole Worship Center, is hosting a back-to-school carnival and world's biggest backpack giveaway this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The center at 24th and Rickard Street is inviting families out to enjoy free activities, food and live entertainment like a kung fu demo and Native American dancing. J.P. Jones Executive Director Kimberly Barr says that there are a few surprises in store for attendees.
We are having a bike giveaway. We're giving away 4 refurbished bikes that ALPA, which is Adult Learning Programs of Alaska, so generously donated to us. Arctic Fire and Safety also gave us some little headlamps that we're going to be giving away to the children. Those will be some door prizes.
The crew at Pioneer Park has been quite busy this week, sprucing the area and adding what they can to make the park look its best. It's all a part of their preparation for Military Appreciation Day tomorrow at Pioneer Park from noon until 5 p.m. Now, all of the park's activities will be free for ID card holders as a way of saying thank you for your service. In addition to the rides in the park, we'll also have beverages, hot dogs, and cookies along with entertainment all day long.
So we're excited to have Military Appreciation Day on Saturday from 12 to 5 o'clock here at Pioneer Park. It's just a great day for the community to come out and thank those for their service. We'll be having entertainment throughout the day. The military is bringing out some inflatable obstacle courses. 9th Army Band's going to be playing. Our vendors will be having deals, and we're also going to be doing an Instagram scavenger hunt for prizes throughout the day.
The 8th Annual Youth Safety Day, presented by Spirit of Alaska Federal Credit Union, Boys and Girl Scouts, and Volunteers in Policing, will fill up the Goldstream Regal Theater parking lot from 11 until 3 Saturday. The event will feature a number of local agencies pulling together to educate children and families on important safety topics and emphasize hands-on learning activities. Kids are encouraged to bring their bikes and helmets to participate and compete in a bike rodeo. Mechanics will be there to make free adjustments and tune-ups. The bottom line is to ensure kids and adults are educated about safety.
Well, first off, our youth is our most valuable resource we have out there. And so, we're looking for ways to go over and make them safe and help their parents understand safety and whatnot. And so we have Youth Safety Day, and it's a gathering of groups and organizations that are helping promote various aspects of safety. The big thing is awareness. Getting the kids involved with safety, making their parents aware of some of the safety challenges that are out there and things that they can do to help their children be safe.
As the growing season comes to an end, it's time to look forward to next year. You can do that by getting your compost heap together now. Here's more on gardening tips.
Welcome back. This is Stephen Seafelt with the Cooperative Extension Service. And today for garden tips, we're going to be talking about composting. Everybody generates lots of food scraps. Everybody that's mowing their lawn generates lots of leaves. And the question is, what do you do with them? Do you take them to the transfer station and just dispose of them, or can you turn them into something useful? And the answer is you can absolutely turn them into something useful by building a compost pile. Now, your compost pile has to be a mixture of things that are green and have a lot of nitrogen in them, like your leaves that you cut in your lawn, or the vegetables that you don't eat, or the food that's left over. And then you need some other things that have more carbon. So the leaves that fall off your trees in the autumn. So you mix those in and you water them, and you want to get them watered so that they're as damp as a sponge that you've just put in the water and rinsed out. And if you've got the right amount of carbon, the right amount of water, the right amount of nitrogen, stand back and the bacteria will take over and they'll break all of that down into material that you can use in your garden the following year. And all you have to do is let it cook. It'll heat up. We want it to get above 120 degrees, but less than 150 degrees. Everything will degrade, and then you stir it up after it cools down. It'll heat up again, You do it another time, each time about 2 or 3 weeks between turnings, and then you're good. You let it cool down, wintertime comes, and then in the spring, you take that material, you spread it out onto your garden and till it in, and what do you know, you've got compost and you're going to have better flowers, better fruits and vegetables as a consequence of that.
Gardening tips brought to you by Fairbanks Stump Grinders and by Midnight Sun.
Okay, Joe Cook is up next with sports, and he brings us highlights from the first volleyball game of the season for high schoolers.
Also, information on the Equinox Marathon and more after the break with Joe.
Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here to get your weekend off right with Friday Sportscast. We start with high school sports. Local Spikers took the court for the season opener of high school volleyball. The Monroe Rams hosted the Lathrop Malamutes. Some storylines in this one. Erica Nash made her coaching debut for Lathrop. Formerly Erica Gage, she played for UAF from 07 to 010. Monroe was without 3 of their better players as well. Third set action here, and the Rams were up 2-0, but Lathrop avoided the sweep and then some. They took set 3, 25-21. The Mutes mounted a huge rally in the fourth. Lathrop overcame an 8-point deficit to force a fifth set, 25-23 win. In the fourth, Autumn Wrzezinski led the Mutes with 8 kills and provided a lot of energy, and Nadine Velasco, she added 6 kills. But in the fifth set, Monroe's Maya Hadukovic caught fire. She had 3 straight kills to break a 5-5 tie. She had a game-high 13 kills, while Savannah Mapp added 29 assists. Jamie Hammond had 7 kills and 3 blocks. She also served 2 aces in a 10-0 run for the Rams. Monroe holds off Lathrop and wins the season opener 25-15, 25-19, 21-25, 23-25, 15-8 over the Malamutes.
I feel like people weren't really expecting us to come out and put that good of a show on, especially without 3 of our better players. So it's just really exciting. Like, if we can do this good, like without people, like imagine how much better we can do with everyone there. So it's just exciting.
I'm definitely proud of the girls. I mean, to come back like that when they're down by a good bit, that's just awe-inspiring to me for this season. I think it bodes pretty well for us to see that they're not going to give up easily. You know, they got some fight in them, which I'm excited to see.
It just seems like the younger girls have come along further than I anticipated, so that's a good thing for us. That's going to help us further down the road as we go.
And the Rackets came out of the bag on Thursday for the first matches of the tennis season. Now, there was rain earlier this week, which postponed opening day on Tuesday. Players still had to dry the courts before Thursday's first matches. Lathrop and West Valley started the 2015 season. Ajax, the Wolfpack team mascot, was there. Check him out. Senior Jared Lees of West Valley continued where he left off last year. And the year before that, in MAC competition, he faced Lathrop's James Kardash, who made Lees work for it. But in the end, Lees, the 2014 state runner-up, keeps his unbeaten MAC streak intact with a 6-2, 6-2 win over Kardash. Teresa Sample and Maddie Baumgarten won the girls' singles matches for the pack. Sample won her match 6-2, 6-3 over Amelia Helms-Leslie. Lathrop won a couple doubles matches. Anna Kardash and Amara Hackett won 6-3, 6-1 over Pearl Lockwood and Roan Wilson, while Sam Greenberg and Rachel Jordan took out Trent Chu and Grace Hawkins 6-3, 6-2 in mixed doubles. The Wolfpack win their season opener 5-2 over the Malamutes. In Thursday's other high school tennis opener, Hutchinson defeats Monroe 5-1. The Hawks swept the girls' matches. Hutchinson's Cheyenne Martinez won her first match 6-4, 6-4 over Morgan Withers. The boys didn't do so bad either. Eric Giles took the boys' #1 singles match over for Hutch 6-3, 6-2 over Jacob Rowenhorst. And Robert Alexander and Joe Rothermel won 6-2, 6-2 over Nathan Walsh and Jack Cook of Monroe. The biggest run of the year, other than the Midnight Sun Run, is a few weeks away, and it needs some assistance. Running Club North and the Equinox Marathon are in need of volunteers to help mark the course for this year's run. The course is an out and back to the Patty Center and goes to the top of Esther Dome. There is a 26.2-mile race and a 40-mile ultra marathon. Now, if you want to volunteer, go to equinoxmarathon.org. That's equinoxmarathon.org. There are still training runs going on as well. This Sunday at 9 a.m. is the long training run of 11 or 16 miles at Ann's Greenhouse. The 53rd Equinox Marathon starts Saturday, September 19th at 8 a.m. at the UAF Patty Center. And it'll be a pretty light weekend for interior sports, but there's a couple of things you can do and even watch. Saturday at 8 a.m. will be day 2 of the first annual Sabrina Mariuto JV volleyball tournament at Boileau Hall. Saturday is the double elimination tournament. All the interior JV squads are competing. Also, interior youth basketball will hold skill assessments this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. at Tanana Middle School for 3rd through 6th graders. Also on Saturday is the 8th annual Seekins Ford Golden Heart Trail Run. It's the 7th race in the Usability running series. The first race is a 1K run for kids 7 and under. The second race is a 2.5K for ages 8 to 14, and for ages 15 and up, there is a full 5K race. The races start at 10 a.m. at the Birch Hill Rec area. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is up next with your weekend forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into a Friday night edition of the Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz once again talking about the weather. And what can you say? It was a beautiful day today. Lots of sunshine, no showers around. We're looking at more clouds moving in and maybe a chance of showers this week, and we'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Our photograph night sent in by Nancy Hummel. The meeting of this Moose Club will now come to order. You can see why there's a gathering of about 4 or 5 moose down there. And they're just having a great old time. You don't see that very often. Again, thanks to Nancy for that photograph. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, photos at ktvf11.com. Today's high, 65. The low last night, 47. The record high was 87 in 1977. 30, the record low in 1931. Sunrise and sunset under 16 hours of daylight, 15 hours and 53 minutes to be exact. On the satellite radar, a big storm moving across the Gulf of Alaska, but most of the energy is being shunted off to the south of the Alaska range, so we're not really getting a whole lot of there, just a few scattered showers here and there, and that is showing up on the latest radars. You can see a little bit of activity moving in from the west, but it's very, very light, and it's not even hitting the ground. What's going on across the rest of the state? Over southeast Alaska, the rain has returned to Juneau and Ketchikan, 63 degrees for both Juneau and Ketchikan. Not a bad day in Anchorage, 64, partly cloudy skies, same for Kodiak, 65. A little cooler down around the Aleutian Chain with Cold Bay, 56, 58 at Bethel, 52 at Nome, Barrow, 38 degrees and chilly conditions there. For Yukon, 61. Lower 48 weather, and talking about warm temperatures again across the Rocky Mountain region. 93 at Denver, 95 at Salt Lake City. Another hot day for Las Vegas and Phoenix, and warming back up again at Dallas. Thunderstorms around the Minneapolis area. Over the eastern half of the country, they're finally clearing out there, although temperatures are still fairly warm, but not as humid as they were before, because the storm system that brought all the storminess to the Great Lakes earlier this week has moved out, but a little more activity moving across the Gulf Coast states and across the Southwest. Things are looking pretty good. Now, the overall outlook for tomorrow is calling for severe weather to break out from an area of, well, north of the Canadian border all the way down through Omaha, Nebraska. And it's going to be bringing damaging wind and hail, flash flooding, and tornadoes. And the overall jet stream for next week is calling for a big dip down coming across the Great Lakes, which will help to develop showers. With the heat building once again back over the western half of the country, down to the south, things look pretty humid once again. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Rain and snow showers in Barrow, partly cloudy skies at Nome, and showers for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, looking at the rain moving back into the picture, showers developing for Fairbanks, rain likely at Delta and Healy. Over southeast Alaska, more rain expected there too. Periods of rain for Juneau and Ketchikan. Temperatures around 60 degrees. Over to the southwest, showers at Bethel, cloudy skies at Cold Bay, and sunny skies for Kodiak. And down around the Anchorage Bowl, doesn't look too bad. Partly cloudy skies for Anchorage and Homer, and showers are likely in Valdez. So here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. For the Fairbanks area, 48 degrees, a little warmer than last night, increasing clouds with an isolated shower possible. Tomorrow, about a 60% chance of showers by afternoon. Into the evening hours, 48 degrees. And as far as the extended forecast, 60 degrees. There's your forecast. The 5-day outlook calling for showers off and on throughout the 5-day period. Daytime highs warming up a little bit by Tuesday or Wednesday. And overnight lows will once again be very consistent right around that 45 degree barrier, a little warmer on Tuesday and Wednesday, but maybe some showers in the weekend.
Just hopefully they'll hold off until the late afternoon.
I hope so too.
Yeah, a lot of activity going on.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Mike. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fbx Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, 2 Americans are being credited with taking down a gunman in a train attack in France. That's up next with Lester Holt.
Be sure and tune in tomorrow, Youth Safety Day and Military Appreciation Day with Kate Looper and Mike Fussell with sports at 6 and 11 on Saturday.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a good weekend.
Good night.